forgot to press the go live button.
Yes,
So
we had an excellent discussion, and we thought we were live. And I wondered why you guys speaking in the chat all kinds of different stuff, and I just noticed that this is not live. But anyways, guys, this is Igor in Russia. This is live with Toll Travels, the one and only, straight from the Soviet. Is it enclave?
straight out of the Soviet Union.
Straight
Yeah.
of the real Soviet Union, because this is the last a last place where you can call it that. It's a Pridnestrovia, and in English Transnistria. He is actually inside Transnistria, but before that, we're gonna talk to Toll Travels. Please introduce yourself for those who don't know you. And guys, this is live. Join the chat. Use this opportunity to comment and ask us, and Toll Travels especially. Go ahead.
Okay, everybody. So yeah, my name's Toll Travels, and I've been living in Eastern Europe mostly since 2007, so a long time ago. So I've lived in Serbia, Ukraine, Russia, also some other countries around the world for a short time, but I spent the majority of my time in Ukraine. So yeah, I love this part of the world. I think it's due to my heritage because I'm British, but I have a Serbian parent. So I think that was part of my fascination with Eastern Europe when I was younger. So yeah, I spend a lot of time in Russia. Well, not as much as I want to at the moment, but I've met Igor there a few times. So my plan is to get back to Russia and spend more time there, live there, let's say.
Yes, and now as a Serbian, it's a visa free for you to enter Russia. But
Yeah.
we just discussed offline that you might be considering this new traditional value. What is it? Temporary residence permit for foreigners.
Yeah, that's right. Because my Serbian passport enables me to get 30 days visa free in Russia. But it's quite annoying because I have to do border runs every 30 days if I want to spend longer there. And then there are some problems with that, and I had to leave Russia. And to be honest, this was a godsend, this new temporary residency offer. So I'm hoping to take advantage of it because, if you intend to spend, if you have a long-term future inside Russia, you need a long-term solution. So this was perfect. So yeah, it's a good opportunity.
You're now inside the you're in Tiraspol, which is the capital city of Transnistria, Pridnestrovia. You're not there for the first time. You said I watched your video today. You've been 4 years ago. Has it changed? How's it developed?
That was the last time I was here 4 years ago, but I've been sometimes before that even because I used to use it as a route into Ukraine sometimes when I was living there because I used to go to Odessa through this region. But the last time I was here 4 years ago, I was with a certain bold YouTuber. And so I was with him when he was making this popular videos, let's say, about Kishinev and also about Tiraspol and Pridnestrovia. So, just one thing I want to say, here, they like to call this region Pridnestrovia instead of Transnistria. Transnistria is a Western term. So they prefer to use Pridnestrovia, but it's a mouthful for some people. So you can just say PMR as well.
But I heard that. Do they use that? Do they understand it, like the locals? If you say PMR,
PMR? Yeah, maybe you say PMR like that or something.
PMR.
Yeah. I just want to answer one question quickly. Soga, read, writer, what are Toll's impressions of the mood surrounding the elections in Moldova? Well,
yeah, that's one of the topics we're gonna talk about it in this chat. But please do answer in a way you wanna. But we're gonna get back to it because it is a hot topic.
Just quickly. I haven't. It's a kind of place that you need some time to get under the surface, under the skin, because as you're coming here as like a foreigner, you don't know quite what's going on. But I spoke to some guy in my last video that I published yesterday, And he was saying, yeah, there's some nervousness about the future, not only because of the war that's on their border, but also there's a gap. So basically, Prinestrovie gets free energy from Russia. So there's a Russian pipeline that goes through Ukraine, and so Russia they siphon off the gas here, and Russia just basically give them this gas for free. But the contract between Ukraine and Russia is ending at the end of this year, so there's some nervousness about what's going to happen with that as well.
Yeah, and actually, I had an interesting discussion with a Transnistrian, Pridnestrovian guy, because my taxi driver, which I was forced to use because I was basically going to be left outside in Ivangorod for the night. My taxi, and I had to take the taxi, the most expensive taxi ride to St. Petersburg. And he was an epic dude, but he was also Transnistrian, Pridnestrovian Russian. And he spoke about on camera about he was taking me with him next May. I might be going there, but I hope I'm gonna get there sooner. Yes, and Sogar is a YouTuber that I made a video about previously live. He's a Canadian, and another American in Ireland is Borsch Bandit. He traveled also there, and we made interviews with him on my channel. He asks, does the guest Utah ever have issues when coming back to PMR through Moldova after visiting home from Moldova officials? In other words, from Moldova officials.
I've never had any problems here in PMR at immigration. Basically, they give you 45 days on arrival, and it's not a visa, it's just a slip of paper. But when I arrived, they tried to give me only 5 days, and I said, what's up? It's supposed to be 45 days, and then they begrudgingly gave me this 45 days. But if you want to spend extended time here, then you can just leave. Whoops, sorry, I'm propping my phone against a plastic bottle in the kitchen here. Yeah, so if you want to spend extended time here, you can just leave and come back in, and they don't seem to care.
But let us know, how do you travel to, if you want to visit this place as a European or from Europe? How do you do that?
There's different ways. The route, what I did is I flew to Chisinau, and then straight from the airport, I took a Yandex taxi. So Yandex works in Moldova, but it doesn't work in PMR. So I took a taxi because I arrived fairly late in the day. So I took a taxi all the way to Tiraspol, and it wasn't too bad. It's about 20 euros or something like that. Yeah, so pretty nice. And there is a bus that goes from Chisinau pretty regularly, so that's another option. But
can this taxi driver cross you to the PMR?
Yes, I had some problems getting taxi at the airport. Like, some of them didn't want to accept the ride to Prinestrovie, but others were okay with it. I suppose maybe some of them didn't have their documents for going there or something like that. But I tried like 4 or 5 times, but I eventually found a Yandex that would take me.
So $20, was it in rubles though, right? Your Yandex taxi is in rubles.
Well, it's my Yandex account, which had my bank card on there. So some of them, you might try and take a ride with your card, and then they'll message you and say, "Hey, can you pay cash?"
Okay.
And I wasn't able to do this because I didn't have any local currency. I just turned up at the airport, but eventually I found somebody who accepted the ride on my card.
And by the way, by meaning Yandex Taxi, do you mean Yandex Taxi or Yandex Go, which is the same thing but different app though? Because for me, with a Western phone, I'm not able to download or even find in my app store Yandex Taxi.
Yeah. It's Yandex Go, I believe.
All right, good to know. That's a important thing, man. You got to be specific.
Yeah, well, I can't check now because I'm on my phone, but I don't know.
It says fine. It's probably Yandex Go, yeah. And Edo, hello, and the Yandex Go is Russian Uber. It's a Russian taxi. I wouldn't say I don't know what's the difference with Uber and taxi in a big way. Is it Uber? Well, it's a really convenient taxi. That's what I say.
It's a taxi app, but
Yeah,
it doesn't work in PMR. PMR, they have local versions. So,
that's weird. Yeah. So what's
yeah.
your? So you entered by taxi to straight up to Tiraspol, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
And is there any other places choice of location to arrive to, or is it like the place to be? Is there any other
What is
top
the capital
locations?
city of Prinostrova, Tiraspol? You've got on the way you pass through another city, which is the second city in Prinostrova, which is called Bender. Interesting name for a place, but
Hmm.
yeah, it's actually a very historical place. They've got a very nice fortress in Bender.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, that's the second city, and then you've got other smaller cities or towns called one called Ribnitsa, I think it is,
Hmm.
and yeah. So, but this is the big smoke in Prinostrova.
So is there any major differences comparing to the 4 years before earlier that you visited and now, like
Yeah,
developing or for
yeah.
better or for worse?
I would say like there's been some inflation here, like everywhere in Europe. They're not immune to inflation. Although, like I said, they get free gas here, so they pretty much the citizens of Pridnestrovia get free gas and electricity. So they get the gas from this Russian pipeline, and then they turn it into electricity in this thermo power plant. And I went to, last time I was here. We went to see somebody, and they showed us their utility bills, and it was like 2 or 3 euros a month. So it was.
Good
Yeah,
price.
that's good for them. But so yeah, that keeps inflation down a bit, I suppose. But still, in the restaurants, I've noticed like prices are going up. But it's still a good value destination here. Most things are cheap. So
Since
yeah,
this
prices is the main one. I think it's got a little bit nicer in the center, perhaps. But if you do go out of the very center, then it starts to deteriorate. So this the street lighting disappears, and like the roads get a bit dodgy.
So, what's the price range for typical groceries? Milk, I don't know, beer, beer, vodka.
Yeah, let's
The
get the milk.
basic groceries.
I'm lactose intolerant, but yeah, beer in a bar you'll pay maybe less than $2, maybe $1.50 to $2, so cheap. Um, in a restaurant, the foods maybe for a basic meal in US dollars, let's say $7, something like that.
It's cheaper than in Russia
Yeah, yeah.
or like big
But
city Russia.
yeah, and if you go to the food markets, then it's very good value. I was buying these big, like Fred Flintstone type steaks,
Uh-huh.
big steaks, and it was like €2, €2 50, and it fills up your whole frying pan. So the markets are good value, and they have good quality produce. Like some delicious food I had from the market. So
Edelwood says Bronto burgers.
yeah, yeah, something like that. Bronto burgers. Uh,
So
big.
last time we met, and always when we met, we usually go to Stalovaia, but usually not even to eat, but to drink. But do you fancy Stalovias even in Prinestrovia?
Yeah, they've got
Which are
still a
canteens for those who don't know, like workers' canteens, the cheapest way
yeah,
to eat in Russia, and it's from Soviet times.
yeah, they've got spillovers here, but I've only seen a couple. There's one. I put a picture of it on my Instagram. It's Real Tour Travels, in case anybody's interested in real my Instagram. And there's a picture of like a Soviet spillover and a little dog outside. So it's that place. But to be honest, I went inside and it didn't look that tasty, to be honest. And there's another, not a Stolova, but a USSR themed restaurant, which is interesting. I ate there. And
Hmm.
I went to kind of fancy Stolovia today for dinner. It's more of a delicatessen, really, where they have this pre-cooked food, like these peppers stuffed with rice and meat and vegetables, which is popular in Eastern Europe. So I had that, and there's lots of other things, healthy options. So yeah.
So getting back to this, the chronological order of going to Pridnestrovia. So once you're in Tiraspol or Bender or wherever you are, how do you get your apartment? Do you use the Russian Ostrovok or what
Yeah,
application?
but
You look
actually,
like
I did.
you're in Airbnb type of a apartment.
Yeah, um, actually, I didn't try Ostrovok. I should have looked at that. But there's Airbnb and Booking.com
Oh,
work here, so it's not like sanctioned like Russia. They consider these Western companies consider this to be Moldova, so they allow the.
but Western cards don't work though, right?
Exactly. So when you come here, you need to bring euros or dollars, much the same with Russia. And yeah, there's bank machines, or you can take out Moldovan money in Moldova. But yeah, you need to bring some cash with you. They've got a card, or if you've got a Sberbank, a Russian bank account, which not many of our viewers has, I think you can take out rubles with your Russian bank card. But yeah, you need to bring cash.
Do they require it to be like in excellent condition, like in Russia, or is it like more
Yeah,
loose?
they give your money, they look at your money the same way as they do in Russia. So make sure your dollars have got no, they call them chop marks. I don't know if you heard about that. It's like some marks that Central Asian traders put on like dollar bills for whatever reason. And if these dollar bills have these chop marks, then it reduces the value of that note by quite a lot, like maybe 20% or something like
Oh,
that. Yeah, so something to watch out for. But I brought euros here, and I'll be running out of cash soon. So not quite soon. I'm going to have to go to the border with Moldova. I just go quickly across the border, use the cash machine, take out euros, and come back.
so how many days you're planning to be in Pridnestrovia, the last place, not place, what you call it, last enclave of Soviet Union?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, things are comfortable here, and I want to make some more videos. But I also want to get on with my Russia thing because Pridnestrovia is a quiet place, so it's not like St. Petersburg or Moscow, of course. So I mean, it's comfortable, it's pleasant, everything's fine, but missing the buzz of
Yeah, yeah,
St.
yeah.
Petersburg.
You
So
always live on Nevsky in St. Petersburg, which is odd to me because I kind of don't stand it, as you know.
yeah,
I like to go to the suburbs or neighborhoods and or side streets of. But yeah, it's a probably any place compared to Nevsky is
yeah.
a huge contrast.
Yeah, no, basically, there's a hotel that I always stay in the center on Nevsky, and it's cheap and right in the center next to my gym and everything. So yeah, that's the reason I stay there. If I'm looking for some long-term home, a rental apartment, then I'm going to choose. I wouldn't choose that area either. It's a bit too chaotic. But yeah, for now, it's been up until now, it's been fine.
And guys, remember to if you got some questions, this is opportunity to ask live and or
Uh,
comment live.
I
And
see Gloria there. She says Tool Travels looks fed up. I don't know. I think it's just my vibe.
it's his vibe,
But
guys.
yeah,
It's his
Gloria says,
British side of you.
yeah. He says he's missing the woman behind the delicatessen counter and the smelly women wearing lots of perfume. Well, there is actually a woman behind the delicatessen counter that seems to like me, I think, but
She's waiting for
I
you.
don't know. We'll see.
Did you mention how much is the renting for one night? This type of apartment. Is there
It's
anything you
cheap.
can show on the stream
Yeah,
here?
I can show you my apartment.
Oh yeah,
Right, everybody, this is a Tool Travels tour of a Soviet apartment in a country that doesn't exist. So this is a kitchen.
Oh,
It's
it's on
like
gas.
semi-tidy. Oh, and this, everybody, is almost free Russian gas coming out of this cooker. So I can leave the gas on this
Don't.
cooker for hours and nobody's going to give a shit. The landlord's not going to give a shit. Transnistria is not going to give a shit. So yeah, that's quite rare in Europe because everybody's paying very high energy bills. So let's have a little look around.
How
This
many
is the whole.
rooms do you have in this apartment?
It's. Oh, hang on. Where's the light
And
switch? They
is
always
it like a
put light.
private landlord that gives it out, or is it like more
Yeah, it's a
commercial?
private landlord. So there's a big bed here. Don't ask me why I've got a clock on the bed. This is a noisy clock and it was
Ah,
keeping me awake last night. So I just put it on the bed. And I've actually been sleeping on the sofa bed because it's more comfortable than this bed for me. Sorry about my socks on the floor and clothes lying around, but
it's
you
pretty
know,
good looking apartment, I gotta say.
yeah, but you haven't seen the best bit. You wait to see the
That's
view.
toilet. Ah, okay. Usually it's the toilet.
The toilet. Look at that, everybody. Check
Oh
out the
my
view.
God.
Yeah. Now, everybody, I need to tell you something about this building. So it's a huge palace-like building, and they built it as a luxury residence for the people of Prienostrovi. But the problem was that nobody could afford to move in there. So it's almost empty. Only 4 apartments were sold, and the ground floor is just occupied by shops. Apart from that, it's empty.
Wow. But it looks
And
amazing.
you can,
So it's like it looks like a palace, but it's like a just
yeah,
apartment building.
yeah, I feel like I'm in Monaco or something. But the reality is I'm in a 20 euro apartment in a country that doesn't exist.
So this is like $20 per night, did you say?
$20 per night. I mean, I negotiated a little bit of a cheaper rate because I've been staying here a while.
And do they
But
require you payment in like euros or ruble?
no, you can pay in local money or euros. It doesn't matter because it's easy to change money here. So yeah, this is a bathroom. It's got a bathtub, which I like. It's quite rare to find apartments with bathtubs because it's nice to have a bath sometimes.
But in Russia, it's everywhere. It's more common to find a bathtub than not.
Yeah,
It's
so
changing a little bit. It's changing just a little bit, maybe. But it's like people don't go. People go to shower in bathtubs or take a bath in a tub.
yeah, they have these little half
Yes.
bathtubs sometimes where they wash their clothes or whatever.
Mm-hmm. But your apartment looks nice. So, man.
But I mean, there's nowhere else in Europe really you can pay such little money for daily rentals. I don't think, or very few places.
So, did you say how many days you were planning to be already, or did I miss the answer?
I've already been here. Maybe I've been here about 3 weeks already. It took a while for
You
me to
have?
start. Yeah, yeah. So it took a while for me to actually start making videos. I had one excuse or another, but I put one out yesterday. And like I said, I'm keen to get on with things in Russia, but I'm also quite comfortable here. I got a personal trainer at the gym that I've been going to see.
Man, you're
So
living it up.
living it up, massages, personal trainer, um, hanging out with some friends. Well, I've met a couple of guys here, so I've had some company while I'm here, so that's good. Going to some of the bars and a couple of discos.
What else is there? By the way, there was some questions. First of all, Bill Thor Kilton asked if Toll Travels on YouTube. Yes, Toll Travels is exactly on YouTube. His name is quite surprisingly Toll Travels on YouTube.
Exactly.
No, Toll Travels without the on YouTube, just Toll Travels. You'll find it easily. And somebody was it also Bill? Somebody else asked that. What is it boring to live to be in Tiraspol?
I don't know. I mean, the key is having some company. If I have company, then everything's all right. But to be honest, I do the same things as I do anywhere. Go to the gym, do some work, go to the restaurants, cafes, but like I said, just missing a little bit of the sophistication of big cities and the buzz. And yeah.
What kind of do they have, like definitely not on the same level with Leningrad, St. Petersburg, but do they have like museums or like of course two major wars are concerned have touched this area, of course, this great patriotic war, and
Yeah.
then the independence war
Mm.
in early 90s when the well, yes, and that's something that in the West people don't talk about. But
Yeah.
is there like memorials, statues, and museums?
Absolutely, there is. If you look at my video on YouTube from yesterday, I walked around there. So, yeah, for those of you who don't know, a brief history. When the Soviet Union dissolved, this region decided they didn't want to be part of Moldova. So there's a war between Moldova and Transnistria, and a lot of people were killed, unfortunately, soldiers and civilians. So they've instead of leaving the Soviet Union, they stayed the Soviet Union since these times. So.
Ibo says, been there, got drunk, ate good food, brought caviar and vodka, and then left. Nice experience.
Yeah, I mean, most people, they kind of come here for a few days. They do a Soviet tour. There's people doing Soviet tours here.
Like
I don't
guided
know.
ones.
Yeah, yeah. And they take you to all this abandoned Soviet stuff. So
I would
people
love it.
normally come here for like maybe 3 days, maybe 5 days, something like that. Then they leave. Only crazy people like me actually want to stay for a long time. But there are some Westerners living in Prenastrovi. I know a guy called Tim. He runs one of these tour company. He's been living here for like 15 years or
Wow.
something crazy like that. And there's also a guy that I met that I knew in Ukraine. And yeah, he disappeared. And then I realized he was living here in Tiraspol. So that was quite a shock.
Do you know if, by the way, you should do an interview with this Tim guy for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm not sure he'd want to do that. Maybe he
Uh,
would, but he's kind of like busy with his Soviet tours, so I'm not sure he'd
that would
have
be
time.
promotion. Just sell it. I'm just giving you good advice. You definitely should, because that would be.
I,
I
I don't
enjoyed
know.
the previous video, but I'm sure this would.
Tim's a little bit kind of difficult. I've been here for weeks and he hasn't even met up with me. He says, "Oh yeah, I'm with this film crew from X country, and then I'm with the film crew from another country." And I'm thinking, dude, just come out of your house and have a coffee or something.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
he's acting like, "Oh, my time is money," I'm busy. That's why I'm not gonna make any content with him if he can't even
Yeah.
come out for a cup of tea or something.
I'm gonna get you as my guide when I come there, because I don't enjoy the the official guide things, and especially if
Yeah.
there's like random people there. I love exploring by myself. I know you do it partially as well, for sure. I would suspect that. Just going into places and find out things, and
Yeah.
all relics and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm an independent traveler and I like to be in control. I don't want to be following some guide around like a puppy or
Yeah,
something.
but imagine if you're following with other people, and if and it's so touristic. It's especially, I usually love to film, maybe too much. Anything I see, I want to film, and sometimes I don't see it for myself, but my camera sees it. But if there's a lot of people, it totally like kills the vibe. So
Yeah, yeah,
no touristic places for me with tourists.
exactly.
So right, 3 weeks ago, how you gonna and how do you suggest people to get back? Is it the same way you came in, or?
Yeah, the same way, but you can also. So I've met some people here that are traveling on towards Ukraine. So the Prenastrovi and the Ukraine border is closed, but you can go through the Moldovan border with Ukraine. So if you want to go to Ukraine for some reason, you can. Or if you just want to return the same way back, you can as well.
Yeah, IMO says take marshrutka or hire a taxi, not expensive. And yes, that's exactly what Toll did with
Yeah.
a couple. $20 cost him from Chisinau. Was it Chisinau to
Yeah, I think in Russian they say Kishinev, and in Moldovan
Kishinev.
Chisinau.
Kishinev. Yes, exactly. All right, guys, join the chat. We are live. I'm somewhere else than Russia for now, but Toll is inside Soviet. I always have to underline it's a Soviet Union. Anyways, Prinestrovia, it's one of the go-to locations for me. That's the place I want to be
Yeah.
visiting.
If you're an explorer, you like, post-Soviet countries, then you have to come here, which is an actual Soviet
Definitely.
country. So it needs to be on your bucket list.
What about languages? How people are? Everybody speaks Russian, right? I know from my discussion with that taxi driver that they speak Romanian and Moldovan. Many people have also Moldovan passports. Basically, everybody.
Yeah. So they speak almost entirely Russian here. I haven't heard any Moldovan language. So it's been good for me. That's another reason I like to be here, because when I'm not in Russia, I can keep up my Russian practice.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's one of the reasons I came here. So yeah, a lot of people have Moldovan passports here. Some people have Russian citizenship as well, and yeah, so they've got their own money here, which is I can show you the money.
Show, please. Yes.
I'll be quick.
So it's the Pridnestrovian ruble, and it's basically 5 times more expensive, or how you say, against euro. I watched the video. I know this by heart now. So it was like $20, less than 20 Pridnestrovian rubles, right? Is €1.
Yeah, it's about, if you go into the currency exchange booths here, I think if you give €1, you get 17.5 rubles. So this is 100. So this is about 5 British pounds. You get about 20 to the pound. And then you have the lowest denomination. Some of them are in really bad condition. This 1 ruble note is like very old. It looks like maybe from like Indian money or something.
What can you buy with that 1 ruble, for example? Or
Well, for example, the best coffee shop in town, which is in the lower ground of that palace, that Arabica coffee, really nice. You can buy coffee for that, which is 11 rubles, which is approximately 50 pence. So it's a bargain. Yeah, so coffee is really cheap here. Alcohol's cheap. Taxis are cheap. Rent's cheap. Restaurants, yeah, so.
yeah.
And yeah, most things are cheap here.
So let's get back to the major issue. Of course, is that the election time is there. You said that it's not that so visible. I know that from my background discussion with that taxi driver, he told me that there are people who wanted to go in a European direction, and someone are not in in Pridnestrovia. But in Moldova, it's also like, I don't know, 50-50 according to the news. How's that experience right now in that area?
Most people in Pridnestrovia either want to keep things as they are, or they want to be part of Russia. So there's no appetite for joining Moldova and being part of the European Union. So yeah, we don't know what's going to happen in future, because obviously they had that referendum to pursue EU integration, and yeah, like all the media, Western media I saw about this referendum is like 100% biased, and they say, Russian interference and this kind of thing.
Yeah, always.
And there's absolutely no balance in their reporting whatsoever.
But that's all
anyway.
news, basically. That's the only way they can do it. They don't know how to be unbiased.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just ridiculous. I saw something in the BBC where this they said one of our reporters overheard somebody saying that they were paid by Russia. But
That's
do
a
you
good
have any
source.
proof, or you're just going to say, "Oh, one of our reporters heard"? You know, you can pull that out of your backside.
Yeah, and if they would say that, even though they would actually hear that from somebody or not, because that's something
Yeah,
you don't need to prove that it's in line with a certain narrative.
yeah, exactly.
I had enough personally. I don't really care about it. So for me, it's so funny when you get like more objective point of view. I think I'm more objective than most Westerners are because they totally.
Well, yeah, because we're more objective than most Westerners because we know both sides. We spend time in Russia, but you know, if you haven't been to this part of the world, then you're exposed mostly to Western media, and you just assume everything you're being told about Russia is true from the
Yep.
West. I mean, you know, most people actually think if they go to Russia, they're going to be in danger. You know, they think
Yeah.
it's a dangerous place. You're going to be thrown in the back of a van, taken to a Kremlin, used as a bargaining chip.
Yep.
They actually think this, and you can tell them, no, I've actually spent time in Russia. You know, that's not going to happen unless you're smuggling drugs or doing something stupid. But they would rather believe CNN, BBC, NBC, and all this kind of stuff
It's
rather than
fitting
somebody.
for them.
Yeah, whatever. You know, you can't. No point trying to
But
force your
people are.
opinion.
You said that in your video, and basically that's a real reporting, by the way. You know, the videos that you and I do, whether it has a lot of content, like content or less, but showing reality is much more. More describing life describing than all that
Yeah.
anti-Russian propaganda. You said something that people are having a little bit tense because of the
Yeah.
um, you know elections in
Obviously.
Moldova.
Yeah, because obviously there's two things. There's a war, which is right on the border. Literally, Tiraspol is just maybe 3 miles away from the Ukrainian border, 4 miles, something like that. And there's a part of Prinostrovie where, like, at nighttime, you can actually see like drones hitting Odessa.
Oh,
And so, yeah, that's bound to make anybody nervous when you have that kind of thing happening on the border. And of course, this is the last remnants of the Soviet Union. And there's talk about whether this region will become involved in the conflict. So that's going to make people nervous. And then you have on the Moldovan side, you know, it's not impossible that Moldova could make another military move on Prinostrovie. And then you have an important, like maybe I was saying earlier about the gas contract running out. So
yes.
people here are living on pretty much free gas and electricity. They get this from a Russian pipeline that goes through Ukraine. Ukraine and Russia have an agreement, but that ends at the end of this year. So
Is it on a hold, or does it mean it ends? It's I forgot.
and I think it's like a 3-year or 5-year contract or something like that. But you know, it could be renewed. This contract could be renewed. But if it's not, then you know there's going to be a huge. You know, if it just cut off one day, it'd be humanitarian crisis because people here, they have very low salaries. They get a couple of $100 a month as the average salary. Like pensioners get $100 a month, and they can't afford to pay like normal European prices for energy. So Moldova are aware of this. They wouldn't want a refugee influx from Prinostrovia going into Moldova.
Moldova is the most poor country in Europe.
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, in the media, I see they say it's one of the, but I think
Is
it
it
is.
one of them, or at least I think it's, or at least this is for sure, it's least visited by tourists.
Yeah, as yeah, least visited, I would say. Yeah, I
Yeah, I
mean,
think I actually might have got my education from Bold. Sorry, I think
yeah,
that's
exactly.
being said.
I was just about to say
So
that
we're
that was.
not sure is it true or not, right?
Well, I imagine so because I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe there's some tiny. I don't know. Some tiny place like Andorra or somewhere like that, or Liechtenstein, or Maybe
Yeah.
or
But
the Vatican. I don't
guys,
know.
remember
I
to
should have
push.
a lot of people in the Vatican.
Remember, guys, to give us some more likes because with this is a great. It's really nice to talk to you once again. It's been a while. We were supposed to meet during, I think it's spring. It's spring during the spring, early summer, and then it
You're
didn't happen.
going quickly somewhere. You ran off to Moscow one time or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. And
Because you're always on a short time schedule when you're there, which
yeah,
yeah.
but it's really nice to catch up with you in at least in this way. But we still have to do this a journey video that we planned, which is not just discussion. Let's go somewhere and do something. Well, semi-epic. I don't know. Let's not get in trouble, but explore some new places for
Sure.
both new places for both of us. This way, it's like a genuine reaction. This is what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
I think.
Sure.
Okay, so any I hope you gonna have some nice time in Prinestrovia. It's hard for me to say the name.
Yeah.
Prinestrovia.
I'm not even sure. Prinestrovia, I think it is
Yes,
Prinestrovia, but like I'd say,
Prinestrovia.
people can just say PMR, which stands for Prinestrovia Moldavian Republic or something like that.
Yeah, and let everybody, you can subscribe to Toll Travels and watch his experience new series kind of
Yeah.
from Prinestrovia. I really enjoyed the new video, by the way,
No,
and
thank
yeah, keep them coming
Yeah.
and enjoy as well. And by the way, one more question: how people react to foreigners and to foreign tourists or foreigners back there?
Everything seems fine. I mean, they're used to having tourists here. Like I said, they come for these Soviet tours. But after a while, because the population is quite not such a big city, Tiraspol, so you do see the same faces around after a while. And I suppose the longer that you're there, the more inquisitive they are. I've had a few kind of funny looks from people, but generally everything is normal. I don't think I've been followed by the KGB yet, but
Yeah, any problems with the police or
no,
anybody?
nothing. Everything's been fine. I mean, you just need to make sure you keep your registration card that you get when you come into the country. And you shouldn't have, oh, and if you're going around filming, then just don't film like government buildings because that's going to make people nervous in any country. But there have been foreigners here that have had the KGB treatment before. So, yeah, just be sensible. And remember, like I said in my video, it's kind of like a Soviet Disneyland here for some people, I suppose, but it is also like a serious country. They had a conflict here. A lot of people died about 30 years ago. So kind of need to be sensible and
Yeah,
respectful at the same time.
yeah,
So I
that's
tried to ask that Neil McDonald question. Neil, I tried to use my Mir card in Sberbank here, but I think you need an actual Sberbank account in Russia to be able to access your rubles. So I
but
have a Boston account and I couldn't withdraw money, unfortunately.
how is your Mir card different from the one having a real? For example, I think I have a Mir card that is described by you inside Russia account in Russia.
Yeah, so this is my Mir card.
How is it different from other Mir?
I
It's
mean, the
not
card,
Sberbank Mir card. It's different Mir card. Is that what you're saying?
this is the Raiffeisen, yeah, so I can't.
Okay, yeah. So Sberbank Mir card works. That's what I suggest people to get. By the way.
Yeah, whenever I hear Sberbank, it sounds like sperm bank sometimes.
Yeah. But the word comes from "sperigательный," which means something you well, to what do you mean when you gather money? What's the word? I forgot.
Collect.
Collective bank. You something where you spare money.
Oh,
Spare money.
save money, yeah.
Yes, sperigательный bank, Sberbank. But yeah, it sounds suspicious.
Yeah. So they have a card network here. Their own card network is called Clever Card.
Yeah. Neil had problems with a Sberbank card issued in Russia, but it didn't work in Belarus. I haven't yet. haven't been to Belarus. That is something that is interests me a lot. Do you have any
Yeah.
experience?
Yeah, this Belarus thing with the border, it should be normalized. I think they're planning by, I think it's November to have everything normalized. So if you have a visa or whatever in Russia or Belarus, and you can go to the other country freely. So in terms of that, it should be fine. And then I would imagine with bank cards, yeah, I'm surprised really that
It
the
should work.
Sberbank card doesn't work in Belarus. Maybe you need to be a citizen for it to work in Belarus. I don't know.
I don't know. It sounds weird because Mir card basically, I think it works even in other BRICS countries even. That's why the
Maybe,
word
yeah.
Mir means world.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it doesn't work.
We know a lot, but we don't know everything. And guys, if you have questions relating to traveling to Russia, you can check my special membership. Check it out, and of course, you can always leave a comment on my and Toll Travels videos. And most I know, if I speak for both of us, I think that's we usually answer almost all good questions or lesser good questions. But hey, thank you so much for joining. We decided to do this like 5 hours ago, and
Yeah. I think we should do another live stream soon, but we'll have some alcohol involved, and then
I'm down for it. So I was supposed to do some now, but I decided not to have been drinking too much.
yeah, I'm going for a jog tonight, and I'm always nervous going for a jog at nighttime. I'm going to go down by the Dniester River, in somewhere like the Soviet Union. You're looking over your shoulder just to make sure you're not being followed. So if I don't come back, then thank you everybody for watching my channel, and like and subscribe.
We hope you have a nice jog, and you can always run faster in case need be. All right, thanks so much, Toll. See you soon, and next time, hopefully in Russia and in person, or we'll find a way. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks very much, Igor. Thanks, guys, for watching.
And guys, stay tuned. I have a live stream from premiere from Voronezh. You've been to Voronezh, Sasha. Have you been to Voronezh?
No, I haven't.
Oh, that's Hey, one last question. Personally, I forgot. What is your favorite? Okay, maybe top two Slavic countries you enjoy the most?
I think these days it's Russia and Serbia. I mean, maybe I'm biased because of my Serbian heritage, but there's other countries I like Latvia is nice. I've been there. Ukraine, I had the best time of my life in that country. Belarus is cool.
Now you're being diplomatic.
Yeah.
All right. Take care. Thanks a lot. Subscribe to Toll Travels, Igor in Russia, both of our channels, and we're gonna keep on watching for your Toll Travel adventures. See you guys. Bye bye.
Bye bye.